welcome. Don't really know how this is gonna go, but it's 2:39 a.m. in Los Angeles, and well, we're here. We're here now. We're here to talk. We're here to have a conversation, a little discussion. This is the first video ever, so a little introduction about myself is that my name is Alexander-Bounyavong. I come from Boise, Idaho, and my nationality is Lao, American Lao. Lao is a Southeast Asian country in, Southeast Asia, right next to Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia. And those of you that do know that, awesome. Those of you that you don't, well, there you go. What's funny is that I came here to Los Angeles for school and, my new career path and all this good stuff. But there's not a lot of Lao folks around here. There's not, at least that I haven't met. There's not that many Lao folks. And it's kind of surprising because back home in Boise, there's a lot of Laos folks. At least I think that's because of the refugee program that was so big because of the war going on. But I just wanted to do a little introduction video. I think I might do more of these. Why not, to share my story a little bit and have a nice conversation about my curiosity, because I have a podcast called Alexander the Curious George. And it stems from just me being curious about the world and why I'm here, things of that nature. So if we're gonna get started, let's talk about passions. This is episode 1, how I found my passions. I think growing up, I actually really loved movement. I really loved things like martial arts and kung fu, karate, dance. I really loved getting physical. And basketball actually happened to be one of those things. I got into basketball and I took a kung fu class. So I tried these things that got me moving, and through physicality, I learned a lot about myself. My first love was actually basketball, and I think I probably pushed myself in my younger and teenage years with basketball more so than any other sport. Maybe that and wrestling, but definitely more basketball. There's this thing about using my hands and using my arms that I'm very familiar with. I loved also the footwork, using my feet. And if you could, put me in a team setting, then I could do well. But I also could do very well in an individual setting too. It's really interesting. So I would say sports, was something. Obviously, everybody says sports, but seriously, if you really want to get deep, I love the. I get made fun of because I use my hands to talk a lot. But this is what I do. If you get down to the nitty gritty, you got to be conscientious of what comes natural to you. What was it about martial arts that intrigued me so much? What was it? Was it because I had a fighting spirit in me? Because my dad was a kickboxer? Because my grandfather was a was a fighter as well? Like, was it because my ancestors did Muay Thai and boxing? Like, my dad was a black belt in Taekwondo. You know, like a lot of this DNA gets passed down as well. So, like, is it that? Maybe that's one. If you look into your just natural habits, if you actually reflect and think about your natural aptitude to do things, note that that's one. I had a natural aptitude to do things that were involved with like my hands and like my body and my feet, you know, things of that nature. So the use of body is your vehicle, and I don't want to go too far off subject, but like I've never felt so blissfully happy when I dance. Like I turn on music, like I love getting entranced by the music. And there was a time where I kind of wasn't even that good, but I could, in my head, and you're always a little bit more, I would say, better than you actually are. So I had to really train to get a lot better at dance. But I just recall those small moments. It's these small moments in dance where the music takes over your mind, your soul, your heart, and your body is this instrument. Yeah, you know, like musicians, like musicians know. Like it's a feeling thing, and you just intuitively go and you let it guide you. The music, you let the music guide you, and it's a relationship between what only you can do as an individual, and what the music is doing at the same time. So ever since I was young, I loved dance, and I did further study. If those of you who are into, you know, astrology and all that good stuff, I looked into one of my what my Venus was in, and it pertained to, you know, things of musicality, dance, the arts, and all that, fashion, all that good stuff. So diving into things like that, that's a little bit deeper, but that's just the, you know, little surface things. Going a little bit deep, so your habits, and then researching things about yourself. How do you research things about yourself? I might have to get into a deeper conversation with that. Probably gonna do like a Patreon, you know. So it's interesting how people find their passions, because like, just because I'm a natural at something doesn't mean I'm passionate about it sometimes, right? Like it could be that case scenario as well. Like you could be naturally good at math, but do you want to be a math teacher? Or do you want to be a mathematician? Just because you're naturally good at math? Like, I was good at math. I was decent. But I don't ever recall if I ever wanted to be a math teacher, right? So let's go back, rewind time, and how did I find my passions, right? So there was a career aptitude test, a career test that we did in school. I remember in the like 8th grade, maybe 7th grade, I chose to be a chef. So, you know, we look up the overview of what a chef is and what a chef does, and we research the role, the duties, the salary, what kind of chef you want to be, you know, Do you want to be a sous chef? Do you want to be a head chef? Lots of kids in middle school, of course, are ambitious about money. And maybe you didn't come from money, so money was a huge motivator, right? Money wasn't a huge part of my life growing up, but my parents worked hard enough to make sure me and my sister, we got everything we needed. So when I chose chef, it was something that was, I think, kind of maybe even like a second choice to what I really wanted to do. I looked up, because you take this test and it, boom, 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 boom. It segues you into category, like creative, artistic, kind of like realms, right? For your careers, and you get to choose one. And you're like, boom, boom, boom. I didn't really see actor. You couldn't choose actor. You couldn't really choose like performer, or like things of this such, where it's really, really hard, this industry. I guess that's what they didn't. It's very hard. Like, it's a very hard industry. Like, you'd have to be, you know, like the person, whatever. Which is really interesting, because we couldn't choose to be, this is what I'm going to school for. Side note, I'm going to school at Stella Adler Conservatory, Art of Acting, right? And I know it in my heart that we're all actors, all of us, but this desire to be an actor on the stage or on the screen or on television, you have to really know it in your heart if you want to do this kind of craft, right? Because it's a craft. It is. It's a passion too. But I wasn't able to pick that in like middle school. I wasn't able to do it. I don't know. They kind of try to veer you off and not choose that kind of path, at least in public school where I came from, back in Meridian, growing up in the Meridian School District. I didn't go to like a fine arts school. I kind of grew up, more public school, and was raised that way. So like arts wasn't pushed as much as like STEM things, right? Like being a lawyer, doctor, or like things of that nature. Things that were safe, things that, you could kind of by the book, very conventional, Conventional, that's a good word, keyword. It's conventional. And chef was cool. Like, I did a very cool presentation. The research was fine. I researched it, and I realized that the funnest part of that whole project was the presentation. I loved presenting my career. That was fun to me. Like, it was so, because it was nerve-wracking, right? Public speaking is nerve-wracking. And I knew that because I was nervous. But I like thrived off that nerve, off those nerves. I thrived off of it. I wanted to do so well. I wanted to perform it, I wanted to perform my presentation. I wanted you to be with me. I wanted you to pay attention to what I was doing. Like right now. I wanted you to focus on me and only me. So I made sure that when I did the presentation, I at least started it with your interest and intrigue. This is one of my things that I kind of start and ignite really quick, but I don't necessarily, at least in that time. I'm getting better, gotten better, but getting interest, right? Getting you reeled in, but then to take you on that journey from beginning, middle, and end. The presentation was so fun. so fun. I also I found out reflecting that even when I was in middle school, I wasn't always the most popular kid. You know, I had these transitional phases, right? Like I had these deaths of the ego, if you want to say the least, deaths of the ego. I was kind of popular in elementary. I wasn't that popular in like 6th, 7th grade. I didn't really kind of care either. But I knew after my 7th grade year that I didn't want my 8th grade year to be as lonely as my 6th and 7th grade years was. And this is going to be on a different video. I don't want to get too deep into that, but I want to stay on this whole passion thing. I realized that I just loved to go to places where people, including myself, feared the most. I could tell even the most funniest person in class was struggling with public speaking and presentation. I was like, wow, this hilarious class clown who's always cracking jokes and making everybody laugh in class. Even this motherfucker gets nervous. Damn. Wow. Because we're all just human. You know, we all have the same emotions, same feelings, struggles. Not all at the same time. Maybe we all go through it in different times of our life, but it was a very intriguing realization when I saw that. So I wanted to attack that fear. And I still want to attack that fear to this day. So that's when I realized that, man, I loved speaking. And not just sometimes I ramble. A lot of times I ramble. But this is who I am, you know? I mean, so I figured that out, right? 7th grade. Let's get back on track. 7th grade, you know, the career thing, chef, you know. I started off really, really good. And I got people's attention. It went pretty well in the beginning, you know. I wish I could have finished it even better, but, you know, you live and you learn. And I even became a chef, like with my dad. My dad owns a Thai restaurant. Shout out Chiang Mai House Thai restaurant. But aside from that, like, let's talk about the career testing again, finding my passions, back on track. I did the same thing in like 9th grade, and it was for a choreographer. I chose to be a dance choreographer, and I did the same exact thing like I did in like 7th grade, 8th grade, where I was so excited to perform my presentation. I loved doing presentations. I love speaking from the heart. I like saying my truth. You know, I like sharing, showing and telling. I even danced a little bit, little reject, little jerk. And there's something about me that didn't mind having all eyes on me. you know, to show off a little bit, right? That's what the acting business is. Or performers. That's what performers are, you know? What does Morgan Freeman say? It says, like we're the show-offs. We love to show off whenever we can. Obviously, you know, some of it, you know, some love to show off way more than others. You know, sometimes I learned how to give and take. I know when to take a back seat and, you know, it's not my turn, right? So a lot of this performer stuff is kind of a hidden passion that not many people even know about. Like, I went through my whole entire life working at the restaurant, and hardly anybody could guess that I was a theater major. Yes, I majored in theater at Boise State University. Proud of it too. Like, what? You're a theater major? Wow, I never would have guessed. Never would have guessed. Yes, theater, and dance. So these tests that we do, some of it serves well, you know. So it wasn't all useless, right? I wish there was I wish there were more like self-discovery or self-awareness classes that we could have done that were more in depth, maybe, you know. But it's so hard to know yourself at a young age, you know. You're not really soul searching that much. You're kind of just you got to follow Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now that's one thing. That's one thing that always fascinated me from psychology or science class, that whenever I learned Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I wanted to reach that peak, that little small triangle of self-actualization. Whatever that was, I was like, I want that. I want that. I want to be there. And to be honest, I am pretty self-actualized now. But I did a lot. I'm 27 now. I did a lot of soul searching. There's still avenues of my soul that I have yet to uncover. So, what? Yeah. Passions. I would definitely say, remember and note the things that make you feel so blissfully happy, that make you smile even when no one's around. Like, you just, like, when you're doing something, let's say it's like, for me it's basketball, let's say for you it's, you know, football, or it's playing the piano, or playing the guitar, or, you know, running track, whatever it is. Like, there's a moment where you just kind of like smile and you enjoy it. It's joyous. It's a moment of joy. And no one can take that away from you. This is for the people who are feeling, you know, if you're feeling lost and, hey, how do I find my passions? Like, what should I go towards? Use these avenues that I just kind of presented to you. Reflect a little bit, you know? Think about your life. Think about yourself a little bit. Recognize parts of yourself from your habits, and your old habits, your new ones that you've had. So, because habits form character. That's a little bit deeper. We'll go on to something, some of those topics much later. I think we reached 25 minutes though. I think that's a good place to end it. So, there you have it. This is my room, by the way, in Los Angeles. I actually live in Koreatown. Cool little spot, cool, nice little room, and I got a little bathroom. But I think we'll be back for another episode if you guys tune in. So let me know what you think. Did this help? You know, let's have a conversation. Let's discuss about it. Alexander the Curious George wishes you a very happy holidays and New Year. So, until next time.